let you come with me today to my storage shed. We just have a few things in this particular one. But what I do have in here is my seeds. And I saw a video on YouTube about walking onions. I remembered that in my storage shed, I had put a bag of seeds the other day. And in the bag of seeds is a little mesh bag with Egyptian walking onions. So I wanted to come get these. And you're probably wondering why. I think some of them are sprouting even a little bit. Don't know if that's good or bad. But you're probably wondering why. I was perusing YouTube yesterday and just kind of looking, find videos to watch. And I saw one that said everything you need to know about Egyptian walking onions. And it reminded me, first of all, that I had Egyptian walking onions, but I had forgotten that I ordered those when I ordered all those perennials. Let my dogs out. We just got up here to the land. But also, it reminded me that it seems like to me those onion bulbs would need to be planted in the fall for maybe some type of spring or early summer or summer harvest. Now, I'll admit to you, I probably did some research before I ever ordered those, but that doesn't mean I retained it right here months later after all of this moving stuff and all we've been going through. So it just hit me. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to miss my time. I'm going to miss my time to put these in the ground if I don't do something about it. So without even researching anything, I just said, you know what? I'm going by the storage shed and I'm going to get those onions out of there. And I just went ahead and grabbed all my seeds while I was there. I don't have many seeds there. I just had like a little Walmart, bottom of a Walmart bag full of seeds because I had bought those after I sent my other seeds to my friend's house. And so I've just kind of slowly been buying little things here and there because I can't help it. So I knew I had those and I wanted to get them. And I want to bring them up here and plant them if it's time. Now, I have a situation here in the back of my yard, and it might be hard to convey on camera, but maybe not. There's our trailer. There will one day be a porch that'll start down there and go to the other side of this door and come out. And I'm hoping it'll be a covered porch, probably a screened-in porch with some light, not too dark screening so that we can see out of it and everything. But you see the sliding door and that window there, that's my kitchen window. So both of those areas where we'll be eating and I'll be washing dishes and things like that, we'll be looking out over this backyard. So this is our backyard. And it just kind of looks out into that wooded area and even down to that pond down there. I'm standing at the lowest part of our yard. That's one thing I've noticed is that when I'm up there in the kitchen, or if you're over here looking out of the sliding glass door or that last window down there, you're high up. You're at least 4 foot off the ground. And then of course, if you're standing, you know, you're looking out of windows, it's even higher. So it gives us such a great view to our neighbor's little lake down there. That means a lot to us because of moving from our lake. And it's also made me want to make this whole backyard area really pretty. Not landscaped, not for just looks completely. I want it to be planted with a lot of my perennials that are going to stay there, that I don't have to replant all the time, that I'm not having to continuously walk out here and harvest and things like that. Perennials that will just get established and you take your harvest year after year. Everything needs a little maintenance, but the perennials, from what I've heard, once they're established, they're just a lot easier to deal with. Okay, what I was going to say is a little unusual about my backyard is it kind of slopes down from the house. And if you'll notice, right here, there's kind of a ledge. And then you can see a ledge where it kind of stops there. Now that's just not where dirt has come down. I think, in my mind, I think something used to be here. I think a building used to be here or something, because you get down here, you can see there's like a board there. It's like you can see some more boards there. It's like there were boards along the back. I think I have one a little bit better to show you right here. You see that board that's kind of acting like a bulkhead? It's like these boards were kind of forming up the back of a building or something. I don't know what. One of my neighbors did tell me that many years ago, there was an older man that lived on this property. And my neighbor is probably my age, which I'm not going to tell you exactly what that is, but it's in his 50s. And he might be 60 or something. He just retired. He's probably a little bit older than me. But he was telling me that as a young man, he would come over and visit this person that lived in this house. And that there used to be an old kind of shack back here area. I don't know if this tree would have been there then, but I could see where this old shack might have been out in here or even down here. And so what it's done that I'm gonna just try to capitalize on is it's made me have an area that's a little elevated. It's only about 5 or 6 inches, but it's elevated. After that, it drops off and goes downhill towards that fence. This is actually flat and elevated, and it's covered with dirt. What's the soil makeup? I don't know. Have I tested it? No. I do have a pH tester in my storage shed. Do I know where it is right this minute? No. So I'm not really worried about jumping and getting it out right now. But my point is, I'm going to kind of take advantage of the fact that I have this level raised area where something used to be. They obviously hauled some dirt in for the foundation of something. I think the house is long gone. I think the piers are long gone, but something used to be here. And speaking of piers, like that is a piece of concrete. Maybe it's just a little movable thing. It may not be, you know, a footer or anything, but I think that shows that something used to be here. And I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I have this raised area, and I'm going to make it kind of a perennial garden. I'm not going to have to haul in a lot of soil to put here, I don't think. I think things like Egyptian walking onions, and some other like hardy perennials like that. I don't know, just brainstorming, maybe horseradish, maybe my artichokes, things like that. I feel like I could kind of make a pretty good perennial bed back here. I could haul in some more amendments and everything, but I'm just saying I don't think I have to spend a lot or do a lot. And what I'm going to do today is I think I'm going to go ahead and plant some walking onions. I don't know, should I plant them on this end where it appears to be like the corner of the property, of the little structure, or should I plant them down there on the other side of that tree? I don't think the walking onions are going to be extremely tall, so I might just put them in this area right here. And I might go ahead and do that today while I have them. Okay, in my spot I decided to plant them. You see all those little green things? Well, I'm thinking, okay, those are just little teeny leaves, teeny oak trees, stuff like that. I'll just pull those up real quick to get them out of here before I plant. Those are little small trees. So before I plant these Egyptian walking onions, I want to get those out of there. This might not be as easy as I thought, but I don't want 40 oak trees popping up in the middle of my Egyptian walking onions. So I'm just going to use a knife. A lot of my gardening tools are stored right now. They may be in that storage shed, but I just don't want to go in there right now digging through all that stuff. I had this in my car, and see how deep down these roots are though? These were one day going to be full-grown trees coming up here. I'm going to work on this a minute, and I'm going to see if this is something I can get done, just doing it with 2 hands and pulling these roots out of the ground, and then I'll pop these onions in here. But this soil is so healthy looking, and when you kind of pull back the leaves and stuff, I think it's good soil. I think it's good soil. Don't know any levels of anything, but I think it'll be okay. See how many I have here. It's hard to video sometimes with one hand, and my hands are filthy right now. Okay, 1, 2, separate these. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, separate these. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I knew there'd probably be another one. 21. Let me just dig around a little bit, make sure I didn't spill any. Okay, I got 21 of them. Whoops, here's another. 22. Okay, I'm just going to show you one that I'm going to do. I Googled just a few minutes ago a little video. It was 1 minute and 51 seconds. And the lady said just to dig down a little bit. I got a little hole here. I might just use that. And she said to put them straight up and then just pull the dirt around them. Kind of leaving the top open. You don't have to bury these deep, from what I gather. You just kind of leave it to where they're right there. Probably could even uncover that a little bit. I'm not going to bore you with watching me do all of these, but I'm fixing to take this pile and I'm fixing to plant them. They recommend you water them in. I don't have what you call it right now. But I do have my thumb. I wouldn't really worry about watering them in because we've had a lot of rain. But I looked at the forecast and it says that there is going to be no more rain for the next 3 or 4 days. So I am going to just chunk a little water over them. You know what happens when you get out in South Louisiana on December 3rd and you do gardening? You sweat. I've got mascara dripping off my eyes. I've got sweat dripping on my nose. And it's like, it's very mild weather, very nice weather. If you just want to sit out in a lawn chair or just be outside walking around your yard, it's perfect. It's just perfect. But the minute you start doing some manual labor, and it took me about 35 minutes to dig up all those little roots of those oak trees. They were in there. Some of them were in there pretty good. So I did all that, started getting kind of hot. Then digging around in there, planting all those little bulbs. Next thing you know, I'm just sweating. But not as bad as it is in June, so I'm not complaining. But it is always humid down here most of the time. And so it's just crazy. We just got through wearing sweatshirts a couple days ago. Now we're back in t-shirts. My husband's got shorts on. I could have shorts on, but I kind of put all my shorts up because I thought it was winter. But that's the way it is. That's the way it goes. But let me tell you what. I needed this. Putting these Egyptian onion bulbs in the ground. I'm planting roots. We're home. It doesn't matter if all my stuff is here. It doesn't matter if my skirting's on or my air conditioner's on. He's coming Monday, by the way. He's coming Monday. And I did get lights. I don't know if I announced that on here, but I did get lights Thursday. But you know what? We're home. We're planting roots. We're here. This is Lainey from Hilltop Homeplace. Thank y'all so much for just enjoying this afternoon with me, getting these Egyptian onions in the ground. I wish you'd try them. Try to find you some little onion sets somewhere and get you some onions. And they're supposed to take root and they're supposed to be prolific. And you should have onions forever if they do what they're supposed to do. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great day and the rest of the weekend. Bye-bye. I just wanted to give you a few more details about these walking onions. To me, they just sound like the best perennial. They're easy to grow. They do like good soil, but they'll grow in just about any soil. They're good in zones 3 to 9, it says, but sometimes we'll do just fine in zone 10. I'm in zone 8, so that works for me. Just depends on where you live, how things grow. But what I like about it is that the whole plant is edible, the whole plant. What happens is there's an original bulb, I guess that chicken or the egg situation. Where does it all start? But it starts with the bulb in the ground. Then the bulb springs forth the stem. And then after a while, your first year, you may only get stems from those bulbs. This is a perennial, and sometimes perennials take a year or so to really start producing their fruits. The second year, after getting the greens, which you could harvest just as greens and eat them like green onions, but if you wait till that second year, the top of that green stem will start kind of almost looking like it's making a flower. And they do put off little bitty flowers, but what it is they end up making little clusters of mini bulbs, and then those bulbs get a little bit bigger. So it ends up with this big cluster of bulbs at the top of the green onion, and they'll get larger, and you can harvest those bulbs to eat. You could still harvest the stem, like I said, and then the original bulb that's still in the ground is edible. You can harvest it and cook it like a scallion or an onion. So then what happens is, and why they call it a walking onion, is when this bulb, this cluster of clusters, of mini clusters, when it gets big enough and heavy enough, it'll kind of fall over. And those bulbs, if they're not harvested to be eaten or anything, if they're just left there, those bulbs will fall over away from the original plant. They'll fall over a foot or so. And if they stay on the ground without being disturbed, they'll eventually take root and sprout and go down and set roots and make bulbs under the ground. They'll kind of dig themselves into the ground. And then all of a sudden, the next year, out of all those bulbs, you get green sprouts, which will eventually make the clusters and the bulbs, and then they fall over. So if you just didn't do anything, if you decided I'm not going to eat these onions in any way, shape, or form, and you let them go, after a while, you started out maybe with one bulb you planted, you might end up with a whole row in your garden, or a whole area, I should say. They don't necessarily stay in just a row form, but you'll end up with a whole area of these onions popping up everywhere from all those bulbs that fell over and took root. So it's just like nature's perfect way of self-propagating themselves, repropagating, and you don't really have to do a whole lot of work. So that's why I wanted to plant these Egyptian walking onions. That's why I wanted to grow them. And I'm gonna give you just a little information of where I got mine. They are sold out right now, but I'm sure you can find them. They do like to sell them mostly as just available in the fall, because that's when the walking onions are making their little bulbs that these companies and these growers can harvest to sell to you. But you can take those bulbs. What I found out, I was thinking this morning that I had to plant them just right now, that this was my window. But that's not exactly true. You can hang on to those bulbs and plant them whenever it's convenient for you. It's just that they're mostly available in the fall when they're producing, when these companies can harvest them and send them out to you. That's when they're mostly available online or whatever. But you can plant them whenever you want to. So as long as your ground can be worked. And like I said, I'm in zone 8, I'm in South Louisiana. There's just hardly any time our ground can't be worked. You don't want to go out there in a horrible cold situation and plant anything, but that doesn't last very long and doesn't happen very often around here. If you live in very, very cold areas and your soil can't be worked and you have a deep frost line or whatever, it's something you have to work around. And they do have about a 250-day growing period. So that's why I guess they say no zones above 3, and 3 might be pushing it. But that being said, always try something. I've never grown them before. I don't exactly know what I'm doing or whether it's going to work. But one thing I do know is I did a little research just looking online, and people say they're easy. And I need some easy right now. People say that they're not a lot of maintenance. You do have to come in there after a few years of growing them and just thin those bulbs that are in the ground. because they'll just become masses under the ground, and you want to thin them out to give them some room to grow and some circulation. But you do that anyway with other plants. That's an easy thing to do to me. It's sometimes some of those other chores you have to do with plants, they're a little harder, pruning and all that stuff. These, you don't have to do any of that too. You just have to thin their bulbs every now and then and just turn around and stick them somewhere else in the dirt and you're good to go. I'm following this with the information of where I got my bulbs to grow. I would always recommend checking your co-ops, your local co-ops and everything first before you do anything else. But if you need to, go online and even though these are sold out at the company I got them for, you can always sign up to their email list. And next year, when you're thinking more about what you want to be ordering for the summer and spring and everything, go ahead and be on their email list. And then you can even put that kind of, so a lot of these websites will let you put notifications from them. They'll notify you when that product becomes available. So go online, click on the walk-in onions, even though they're sold out, and just see if it'll let you do an email notification. I think it does, to let you know later on when they are available, and then jump on it. I would jump on it. I would get them the minute they're available. This is Lainey at Hilltop Home Place. Thanks again for watching me. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good day. Bye-bye. I got my seeds from Territorial Seed Company at territorialseed.com. They have a lot of perennials. I was very impressed with their catalog of perennials, so I would definitely try them. And sign up for their email notifications so they'll let you know when they get more bulbs in stock. Thank you.